think we found it. Settle the Nightingale, 6. Let's take a look around. I didn't think I was even going the right way to get to the yellow marked places. Hey, Ever. Aside from the Earl, the last emperor had drawn up... We don't know that we don't know for sure it was the emperor, but okay. It might have been. We'll jump to conclusions.
Of all the sites I travelled to with the robot, most of them seemed lost, abandoned. But this one felt like it had been hidden.
Oh, I forgot to admit, I was going to, after I finished uploading Disco Elysium, I was going to make sure that I made playlists for things that didn't have playlists yet. Forgot to do it. It's too late now, you've already watched it all. How old is this place? I would estimate this site to be more than 1,500 years old, mistress. It is quite a find. Whatever it proves to be. And one of... So, I wanted to make sure that I finished uploading Disco Elysium and, you know, get caught up to at least where we are now, December. I am going to take a little bit of a break from uploading now because I do want to, like, take more time to play through Disco Elysium. I did start a second playthrough. It was trying to just jump you all over. It's like the next number after 20 is 36, of course. The lanterns are shining with river light. Trees. Lots of them. Growing from fissures in the rock, mistress. The roots will eventually split the slope below us. This whole site will subside. Well, part of it is that they get uploaded in a weird order, I think. By all the wakened waters, this could have been built yesterday. Waters above, 6. Surely there's no one living here. No, mistress. At least not that I can detect. No. I mean, when I upload them, like on my screen that I go to, like, do stuff on, if I upload a batch of things, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to upload these, you know, these 10 videos, 21 to 30, they show up on my thing in opposite order. And so I have to, and then if I upload another batch, it's like they, you know, before I'm done with that one, they wind up crazy on my screen, but I make sure that I always publish them in order so that on the channel they show up in the correct order. And then regardless, if I make a playlist, I get to choose the order for the playlist, so that's always right. Might be the biggest one we found so far. We got a little, this is either person or goddess or something. Well, if it has something to do with fire... I don't know. Mercy and mercy we... Man, that's a gigantic word. Related to truth? What's I find? Oh, did I use mercy twice? Oh, it is. Oh, it's the same word twice. Oh, so this is, maybe this is in. In mercy, we find mercy. Call of the Sea, a weird adventure puzzle game. The ancients never had the foresight to leave their doors unlocked. Some kind of courtyard. There's an inscription on it. A horned statue, an ancient goddess guarding her space. Is this place a temple? Dame dame. No keyhole. So how did people get in? It may function like the gate on Elbereth. Good thing I went there first. Maybe a passphrase or other mechanism. There must be a way through. 6. Yes, obviously, mistress. There is a hopper eye inside the courtyard. If I may. Aye. Indeed, mistress. If the glass is still intact, the eye will focus the hopper signal into the courtyard. And if the glass isn't intact, the signal will not entangle, and nothing will happen. Or, we will refract to an unexpected location. So long as it's not a crack in the stone. I would promise that if I could. He's like, no, no, no. I might teleport you into a wall just now. Well. Well, what, mistress? Get on with it. The wind died. Oh, she's going to say it. We're intact? I believe so, mistress.
The smell of flowers flooded the misty air.
Strange layout for a temple. No shrines, no priest quarters. Oh, well, this is only my second stream of this. We're not very far into it. Yeah, like Garrett said. This whole place is incredible. It's perfect. I wonder who she is. She seems sad. I do not see any inscriptions to tell us. She's weeping and beckoning. She has unlocked those two emotes only. /weep and /beckon. I suppose anyone who came here would have known who she was. An open door or a door? Locked. There might be a key somewhere. That is a ridiculous idea, mistress. Why would anyone lock a door if they intended to leave the key lying around nearby? You're right, they probably brought the key to the past. Can't you detect it there? Can't you detect the key in the past? Perhaps they were absent-minded. Mistress, really? I do not wish to have to report this kind of nonsense to Professor Mayari. Can't think why they keep giving me robots. Every time I break or lose one, they give me another. It's like they're trying to get rid of them. The university cares for your well-being, mistress. This one's definitely stuck. Oh? A tree has demolished the corridor beyond. The same fate will eventually overtake this place. This must have been a stray seed once, nothing more. Now look at it. It'll bring this whole place down and turn it into dark bramble. Never understood Professor Mayari. You know, she brought me to Iox from an orphanage on Elbereth. Now she keeps giving me like the 80th time. And she's like, man, they just keep giving me robots. Mostly worn away. Almost all worn away. Can't get anything from it. What do you make of it, 6? The Frieza? There really was a lot of writing here once. A whole chronicle, perhaps. But I believe some characters can still be seen. Oh, it's a good thing I asked. My goodness. Is that not everything? Oh. Is that not everything? Oh, oh. Is that not? Oh. No good. There's not enough here for me to guess the rest. It's the first time we've seen that. Her going, no, I don't have enough information to just guess. It's like, that's what you do with everything. The Empire State, the architecture fits. It's like, that would be incredibly unscientific. Some kind of temple to the horned goddess. So why did the last emperor draw a map to here? I can't get my feet wet. Wishing for some kind of peace as he lay dying? The emperors believe in to be reborn you must be burned. Unlike all those before him, the last emperor faced true death. Perhaps the emperor drew the map to tell his soul where to go. That's interesting. We can get through here. Looks overgrown in there anyway. So do we turn back now? Go home? Clearly more to find here. I do not suppose you are genuinely interested in my opinion. Gotta be another way inside. Smash a window and climb over the glass. That was sarcasm. There's so many, like, tiny little... There's a high diversity in the plants and flowers. I would suggest some kind of botanical garden. Oh! Something with the ivy. That's the Eagle and Sun. This is an Empire period ruin. I thought we had already decided that. About 1,000 years more recent than you thought. Oh. Another inscription along the edge of the design. This one is a phrase run together. Old. Whoops. This doesn't feel right. That's not old, but it's got the time symbol. Oh, like I shouldn't put it in there because that's going to be... It's a long one, but I'm sure it translates as Empire. I guess I'm going to say this is... Oh, wait. So we got, what do we got? Empire, await, be... lowered. No clues there. Some kind of devotional garden, a monastery, maybe rather than a temple, maybe. Up there. That's the hopper eye you used. Indeed. An intact Empire Site 6. Everything on Iox was rebuilt after the fall. But this place was never destroyed. We must assume it was never found. Alright. This is the bridge we saw from below. Mistress, a warning. I believe the running water has compromised the stonework of the bridge. Compromised? Feels solid to me. And then I fell to my death. By the waters. Oh, I have hit points? Your ankle is damaged. You will not be able to jump back. I'm intact. Survived a collapsing bridge. Just now. There's more than can be said for the bridge. I don't think I can jump back, even though I'm getting health back very quickly. Still breathless. This moon has plenty of oxygen. Take your time to recover. Wait for me, 6. Yeah, I'm not jumping back. There's stuff I can do over here? Typical human.
Stone markers huddled together, whispering nasty things about me.
Like the one behind the hermitage where Renba died. Got my breath back at least. More water here than I've ever seen. Enough water for Elbereth 3 times over. Well, there was a way to transport water. The same way as the slaves, just give the water a hug and then teleport. quiet. Unusual. So many of these markers. Marking what? This might have once been inscribed, but it's been worn smooth. 6 might know what to make of all this. Robots can't jump. That's racist. This one's buried. You need a machete to find any inscriptions. Or a time knife. Clear, no one ever lived here. It's definitely not a temple. Why go through so much trouble to build all this? This one's in better condition. Still legibly carved. Broken off. That's just how they decided to to do the game. I think in must be right. Life. Alright, life. Does life in mercy work? Yeah, they just decided to do the game as a 3D game where instead of a 3D model, you have a 2D hand-drawn sprite and you leave a shadow behind while moving. It might be because I don't know if this is on like mobile devices or something where maybe there's a control scheme. I don't know. Like if they figured out, oh, it's harder to see what's going on if we don't do that shadow thing. So wait. One of these is probably wrong. Truth and crystals look almost the same, but those are pretty different concepts, so I don't think that's gonna work. Oh, so we're not using crystals here, we're using truth. Or what I think is truth. Oh, because we found a golden compass, and it's like, oh, okay, it has to do with sail. Oh, well, we're like, nope, that's not truth. No, if it's related to... Yeah, if it's related to crystal... Well, a thing that I think is crystal. It might not be crystal. Sail beyond the stars. There we go. That sounds right. I think this comes from the same site as the devotional icon. The one I was given on Elbereth. Why do I know that that's there? Who knows? Inferred the existence of a new location. Strange. There are niches in all of these markers. They're empty. Looted? Or left that way? This one's worn smooth. They don't look very safe anymore. You know, they have the thing on laptops. I don't think they have it anymore, but back when laptop screens used to really suck, they would have that option in Windows for mouse trails, like have your mouse leave a trail as it moves around. Man, that never even occurred to me that just completely stopped being a thing. Laptop screens being absolutely awful. This one is separate from the others, and it is inscribed. He was exiled. It's not the symbols for ancient after all. Tell me it's something time-related. Maybe it is Leia. Oh, no, wait. This one? All? All sounds nice and all-encompassing. And now here's the time symbol again. Again? A sailor's model sounds more like the words of a child. Nice to be away from the robot for a change. By the waters. The air must be getting thinner. I forgot to put on my spacesuit before I left the ship.
The wind was strong up here. It wanted to grab you by the waist and chuck you down the cliff.
I mean, yeah, I assume the option is still there, but I feel like, did it used to be enabled by default on laptops? Maybe not. I'm making stuff up. Oh, what's that? The wellspring must be up there somewhere. Where does all the water go? And what do the owls eat? I can hear an owl. Oh no, maybe that's the wind. How about this one? The inscription is readable. Good. Right. Yeah. You just wanted it more explicit with the mouse so that it was more clear, like when you moved it, that you wouldn't lose track of it as easily. All right, so we got life something. Wait, is this not travel? We don't like travel anymore? It's related to home, so safe. My life, my. Yeah, I guess we don't like travel here anymore. Life my here be safe. Blessing, stone of protection. I'm doing great at linguistics. Look at how high my score is. Truth be told, linguistics is very easy. All you do is look at a thing and then just guess what you think it means. You win. Nothing on this one. More markings here. The very idea that I would mispronounce something. Come on now. Like, I think that can't be the word for peace. Who would write peace on a statue? Nobody. Strong in... Strong in death. This place must be some kind of monument. To a war, or a famine, or a plague. Did I already look at this one? Is this where I came in? No. Smooth, just like locked, of course, like all doors. Reminds me of that old Elberethian story about the boy who gets washed into the rivers, who drowns, then comes back as a fish. That was the whole story. Alright, so I guess I will jump back there. I want stone setting. Making preparations when this place was abandoned, or the shrine that stood there was removed. There's something kind of, I don't know. This one seems to be made of older stone than the others. There's a thing on top, right? Yes. And there's something up here. A hoop of metal. Wonder if there was once one of these on top of the shrine we found at the ruined Hermitage Moon near Mercy. Heavy, but perhaps not as heavy as I had expected. There are symbols inscribed on the inside curve. It says, "This is my hat. Don't take it off. Don't take it off of my statue." That was quick. But no strong. This is another... No, that's not the... Those aren't the two symbols we use for elements, like water. Something else. silent. If that's nothing, which I think it is, this might be silent. And this is on a horseshoe? I speak for silent. What is this thing? Some kind of recording device? Oh, sure, I've seen something like this before. We might be able to trace where it's from. I can tell, as much as, like, this is fine so far, I will be so annoyed if or when we get to the point where I'm like, well, gotta scour the universe for the one thing that I forgot to click on. You know, like a Monkey Island or Outer Wilds or something. Or La Mulana, God forbid. Like, all of these are kind of a pain to navigate. Still. Oh, I thought that I would have to try jumping. On the other hand, by the waters. Phew. I thought I explored around. It didn't seem like there was another way I could have gone. Most relieved to be within reach of you once more. Do you have a sense of what this place was from your explorations? Is it a graveyard? I don't know if it's a graveyard. It could be. The compass and the metal hoop. I didn't even tell you about that. I want to show you the area I found. This isn't a temple then. It didn't look much like one. Sorry. Where was this hoop made, I wonder? Unclear. Oh, bust open the door. That's an option. We can break it down. Break it down. It tends to use my holographic head as a battering ram. No need to be snippy, 6. There is no need to be persistently inaccurate. Oh, I mean, I already wanted me again with this. Why robots? I handle myself. There can't be that many more robots left. What's a cohort? It's what you call a group of robots. A manufacturing branch. It is hard to explain. I recognize myself in them. Is that the same thing? What's this? What's what? There wasn't something here. I walked right by here before. There was no glass jar. The inside is heavily stained. Must have belonged to a heavy drinker. The maker didn't include an inscription along the handle. Who would have come here? Guests of the Emperor? Family? The actual Emperor? Maintaining this place must have required considerable effort. Is that a tree sticking out of the roof? It's amazing this place is still standing. It's so hard to see that, like, whether I guess they want you to observe rather than just looking around for dots. I have to rest out here. That won't be long. By the goddess and all her Yubies. So many thorns. Not going back that way if I can help it.
The air inside the glass house was damp. It smelt like fruit and warm water.
It's bigger when you get close to it. Amazing! Who could have invented such a technology? Peaceful here. The air is warm. Still flowing. After all this time, I would have thought it would be clogged with moss and dirt. Just hope my shoulder doesn't go straight through. Eek! I found a way in. So I see. I've tried so many doors in this place. It's the first one I've managed to open. See, you are still undamaged yourself, mistress. Do you have any more idea what this place was? Doesn't matter. Well, it does. It actually matters a lot. But I'm not leaving. He's gonna say, shall we leave? Of course not. Still want to show you the area I found. Lead the way. Your test has revealed that I can see it. I could add that, I guess, exclamation point space hide if you want. If autocorrect is being a butt. Also, what the heck are you guys talking about in there? This should lead us back to the area with the stones. Stones? Interesting. Alright, yeah. After the stream's over, I'll go do that. If I can. I assume I can. Is this bridge in better state than the last one? That's an important question. I believe the tree is holding the stones together. What is this? Banana crossbow? One of these words must mean crossbow. And the other is banana. Crossbow of life. That's what you use crossbows for. For healing people. Does not travel. Drink. Drink is life. Drink bananas. And live forever. Can you tell the time by the sundial? Oh, is that what that is? A sundial? One claims he can, but... But what? Well, he isn't entirely honest. Though he doesn't lie so much as Daedra. I know what a sundial looks like. Remember, we're in space. It's actually a river dial. I will topple into the water and sink. Just go carefully. You're a robot, aren't you? Calculate it. You're attempting to goad me into crossing. I cannot be goaded. I know you have lost robots before, Frown. 5 of them? I don't recall ever mentioning my previous robots. I do not intend to increase your score. I just want to show you something. I will hopper myself to the boat if I so much as teeter, and I do not guarantee I will return. He made it. Wasn't so bad. I did not enjoy it. I am a robot we are incapable of enjoying. Right? You don't have feelings. Knock it off. Next time wait in the ship. I cannot. Now, why did I want to bring him up here, now that I think about it? I don't care what he has to say about any of this, do I? Perhaps there were metal hoops on all of these shrines originally. They might have been looted, if they're valuable. Jump the gap again. Leave him here. 6? What have you seen? 6? Where'd he go? You fall in the river and I wouldn't even notice. What is he doing? Replace the hoop, why? Finished my researches. My conclusions are, I fear, worthless. What were you looking for? I do not know. The impression did not last for long. I don't know what you're talking about. This was the oldest one I found. I would date it to the very earliest days of the Empire. The stone is different, older, and from a different source. Where is it from? Cannot be 100% certain. But if you had to guess, and you do, because I'm a linguist, Elbereth. Should we go back there? He just said he wasn't sure. 96.5. It's not so far from 100. The old stone marker we found. Does it suggest that Elbereth was important in the early empire? If so, that's new to me. That would be a strong conclusion to read from a single choice of building material. Perhaps Elbereth's stone was as cheap as its labor. It is strange that it's the only Elbereth stone. The other stones are from the local stone, as might be expected. Perhaps that emperor happened to die on Elbereth. One could hardly blame him. Tradition changed for obvious. So I lose health for this again because it's so cold up here, I think, or windy. This location is extremely unsafe, he says. You trying to break your neck? Why did that? I don't know why that dot didn't show up. The stone hasn't worn so much up here. Ouch! What was that? La Mulana trap? Don't just say interesting. What it is? What's? This shrine is indeed powered. They're machines? I was zapped? No, mistress. The stones are merely stones. But this one is charged. Aligned magnetic radiation, mistress. Similar to that which aligns and conveys the rivers. This lump of rock is charged. And the hoop certainly fits. There's a figurine, too. As for you, come a long way to be here. Let's see if it was worth the trip for you, goddess. And that's when it happened. Bless the goddess. Have I been asleep? It spoke with the voice of a child. This would have been a big thing to miss. 6, what's happening? It is simply a recording, mistress. And it will not last long. Please. What is a recording? I'll say Cabenia. What does that mean? Who is Cabenia? You do not know who I am? No. I should have you killed for that. Just tell me who you are. My name is Kaya. I can't see you. It's so very dark. Why can't I see you? Where am I? Tell me where you think you are, Kaya. The orangery, of course. Where is Alpha? She screamed. The orangery? That doesn't rhyme with anything. Above the withering palace, of course. I can't feel my legs. Don't be scared. You're only dead. Super dead. Like 1,000 years dead. The power is failing, mistress. You must ask what you want to ask. Do you know about an observatory or a vault? I've never sailed. So the vault will open for me when it's time. What? Have I been asleep? Mistress, the power in the plinth has failed. So are we to get more? The remaining alignments in the plinth have stabilized. The potential is gone. What should I do, Six? It is up to you, mistress. I am a machine. But I did not get the impression the child wished to be here. We'll be able to talk to her again. I'll be careful with you, I promise. Wonder what Huang would make of her. Should I touch the marker again? Can I take the hoop? Take this thing back to Elrond and show Ori. She might be able to explain what it is. Ah. Nothing. Just a rock. Don't know what I'm hoping for here. There is no need. Evidently, it is quite powerless. Most fortuitous find indeed. Yeah, now we can leave. So, two of the we've really only gone to two major places. The place where Renba was and might have died, and here, and in both of them, through a lot of exploration, we found something that could have been missed. Right, there was the crown in the other. Well, there were a lot of things. There were a lot of things that you could. I could have left without finding that figurine. Yeah, man, it does feel like this is impressively non-linear, because I don't want to say, oh yeah, this is what's supposed to happen. It really seems like things could have gone much differently. I don't know. A curious place. Can you really record a whole person? That's more important than frickin' water. I'm not gonna talk about water. Given enough time, perhaps? Once again, mistress, you have forgotten who you are talking to. That whole moon, Six. It must have once been filled with voices like Kaya's. A head atop every shrine. Is that how it worked? All talking. Arguing. Laughing. The place was a haven. And now you could hear a pebble drop. From the marker outside the Hermitage on the moon near Marseille. Still don't know what it's made of. Look out there. Seems to go on forever. Mistress? Can you sail 6? Do you know how? I believe so. It seems a straightforward matter. The river carries us forward. It is only a question of using the sails to adjust. Alright. I'll see you later, Garrett. A reminder, I'm not streaming at all this weekend. Next stream will be next Tuesday. The sails steer the ship. Otherwise, the river pushes us aside. With both sails lowered, we go faster. It is an ingenious design. Should I rest? Maybe I'll have a dream if I rest. Very good. Where shall I take her? Oh, is that an option? Let's go back to Elbereth. See if she's done with the crown and also give her the new thing. So I didn't realize this was an option. I can just, instead of doing the fly the ship minigame, although it looks like there are things along the way that you can find, right? We found a thing. We found a little random place where it's like, oh, there's a ruin here, and we ducked inside and just had one thing to translate. Or yeah, I didn't even go inside. The robot went in. The harvest. Such as it is. Dried grass. Waiting to be taken inside. What is it for? I assume people do not eat it. Animals do. Not people. People aren't animals. Indeed. Good faith to you, yes. I'm told a laborer hurt themselves in the fields. Struck something underground. Laborers hurt themselves all the time. Too much raki, usually. You'd have to ask at the market. Tread softly. You can keep going. It's the name of the inner citadel. Not sure what it means. What is this little shack? Are these ruins dating back to the Empire? Something under here. A dented metal goblet. I would estimate it dates from the early Empire. And there are some inscribed symbols. Start of a fragment of text. Drink to the stars. No. Oh, we're confident about stars for some reason. Like, what else would you write on a cup other than stars? Go beyond. Go. Wind and go could be similar. Yeah, get drunk and leave the solar system. It's a good idea. Comes from the same place as the coin and the book we found earlier, I think. Another artifact should help us locate that site. I see. Okay, so when you find... I guess I hadn't really realized that finding these artifacts... Like, sometimes that would pop up and we'd be like, oh, you know a little bit about where there might be a place where you can land. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's just a thing. But it's when you find things that were from the same time period, and I don't know how she realized it, you know, other than just more guessing. Finding things from the same period allows you to figure out where they might have come from. I thought I could squeeze through there, but maybe not. Should I go back to the markets then, instead of running straight to, what's her name? Good faith to you. For what? How are the crops? The goddess keeps them strong, thank you. Walk with the goddess, or die on Iox. Rude. Doesn't matter how often I come back here. Once you left, no one allows you to return. Apparently not. Timor? I'm not going here to see Timor. I'm going here to walk around at random.
Laughter, shouting, crying, all at once. The sound of 1,000 people packed up like a box of oranges.
That's it. This is the orangery. This is where we can read up on Orangeanese lit. There's the bar, but I can keep going, right? Not go back up. Ah, damn it. It's all connected to disco, it is. Alright, let's try exploring again, only more slowly this time. So that I don't immediately run back up the hill. I hit M for map, and it did bring up the map, but it was not a helpful map. I would like a map of what I can do right where I am standing. So there's the bar. If I come over here, it's like, that's go back up. So I want to go somewhere over here. Like, is this where you grew up? In a dwelling like this? No. I grew up in an orphanage. In the Katkis, up there. This is where I came to escape. What was this? Did this lead back out again? Okay, I think there's nothing down here but the bar. I think that's what's happening. There is actually nothing up here, or nothing down here that you can interact with except for the bar, which I've already been to. I could go back to, but get some more free drinks. Everax also going to get some free drinks. I see how it is. Read the inscription. Used to trace them out when I was a girl. Then why did I have to come back here in order to read them? Couldn't I have just read them from my memory? prey. We got ourselves. Mistress, that translation is clearly incorrect. I have two things that both mean B. That's not going to work. The translation B can't be. I believe you are correct with prey. Confirmed. Alright, so we've... That glyph must be and. Nothing else makes sense. There were only four words to begin with. Be welcome? Be welcome, pray. That's what you would say at a gate. Was Elberth a place for pilgrims? I didn't know that. Convince the gate I'm a pilgrim. Get used to that. No, not Tappy's shop. Does the gate respond to any other words? I don't know. Never really tried. I could have just now. An orange. This is the orangery.
The market never seemed to stop.
Can't just walk into your house? No. Hope your friend is still here, mistress. There we go. Ah, Alia. Good. Quickly, come in. That thing you brought in. What did you make of it? First things first, where did you find it? How? A box on an empty moon. All the boxes you could open. Did you ever hear of the Great Forge? A moon used in the early Empire for crafting complex devices. Peter Dinklage lives there. A gigantic Peter Dinklage. So obviously made there before. This forge. Oroy. Is it real? Not just a myth? It must have been real. And huge. Employing hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Where? I have no idea. You're the archaeologist. But did you find out what the crown does? No. I have no idea. I didn't try to turn it on. But you could? Are you serious? It's hundreds of years old. I mean, perhaps if I knew what it was powered by. But if I put the wrong amount of flow through it, I'll smoke the foil. I don't think we'd stay friends. Okay, I want it back now. And in one piece. Honestly, I'd rather it wasn't here. I'll keep it safe. Alright, so leaving it with her allowed us to identify that it, well, we already knew that. But something about a forge? The crown was taken by the last emperor as he escaped Anax, and it ended up hidden in the building where he died in the depths of the cyclones. Forge. According to legend, it was made for the first empress herself. Oroy believed it had been made at the Great Forge, a near mythical hub of engineering and design. Ah, we got stuff about... See, even this might be fun to, like, if they just gave us this, like, a wiki, basically. If this was just an animated wiki where you could go through, if there was no, like, walking around and talking to people, if this was just all filled in and you know, just... It wouldn't really be a game then, and I probably wouldn't play it either, but it's a fun idea. Still, it's good to see her in one piece. Why wouldn't I be? It's not that dangerous. You don't need to pretend to me, Alia. I know the strain you put on yourself. Found a strange metal hoop. A hologram came out of it. Let me see. I recognized it immediately, of course. The neck hoop from a robot. But it won't do anything without a core. It needs something to project. Last thing I noticed is it's badly made. Robots are beautifully, delicately crafted machines. This is an Empire period copy. How's business? Still slow. Not getting any worse. Oh, we're done. We're done talking, apparently. So, I guess we can go to that random place where we found, you know, the dented goblet from, or, you know, the place that we triangulated the location of by finding the goblet and things. One new artifact to consider. We've also discovered enough to pinpoint one new location of note. An unknown moon. Time to go? Yeah. So we left the surface of Elbereth. Enough new information to discover an undiscovered site, an unknown moon. Alright, and that'll give us something to do, something to start with next time. I don't think I'll go back to Iox until I have one more thing. So we'll go to this unknown moon and just see what's there. It's just we are receiving a message on screen. She's checking up on us. Perhaps, mistress. Alia, where are you? Following a lead. Ha! Next you'll be asking for a pay rise. What? This isn't a social call. Wanted to let you know we're having a celebration for Renba here at the university. You don't have to attend, but I thought I'd let you know. You want me to come? I think it might be good for your soul. And I think your soul needs all the help it can get. Come home, Alia, right away. That is all she sent, mistress. I can certainly keep that from Riari for a while longer. Alright. Let's save just now. Perfect. Alright. That is it for tonight.